only a safety, it's a safety thing.
John Cooper. And we were out at Reno.
That seemed, I think everybody seemed to like it.
He
Yeah,
was
that's what I heard.
and lost a lot. He put his last $5 in the slot machine at the airport. He said he made his money back.
Anybody want to be airport? I never have.
One of our sons.
What's the score now, Jim?
Joe's out there.
Down 6 minutes left.
Yeah, this place is
Still
doing
right.
It just doesn't feel, I mean, it just.
Well, no, play from behind.
Just can't get there.
You gotta think there's good teams gotta go off.
There wasn't nobody.
You come there in the dog.
Walking around.
Most of his time is there, waving his hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, showgirl. Yeah.
It's a hard to get a fence race.
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
And I don't know what time zone, sometimes you drive through people too, you know what I mean?
How are you tonight?
Howdy.
How are you, young lady?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Saw more electric cars still driving. I've seen my whole life.
I don't watch the,
I think people are overdriving.
and it gets them the wet, however.
Mother Nature.
Until it's June, you're probably at risk.
I saw Jackie a couple weeks ago and I finally told her you said hello. And then I've not seen her in a while.
It's been a while. She was in town, or were you in her town?
We went to Vegas a couple weekends ago and just met them there instead of meeting each other in our hometown. So we're like, let's just go somewhere fun.
I bet I haven't seen her in 20 some years.
Really?
She sent an email one time or something, and then, you know, asked her how she's doing. She told me she had a child. And I'm like,
Later,
she sent me a picture of her with the baby.
Yeah.
She looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
very good. I know.
like zero age.
I know. Did you guys graduate together?
She was a year behind.
Behind me.
But Johnny was several years behind.
He was 7 years later. I don't know if it was an accident.
I don't know, he was way
All
behind.
signs point to accident.
There are no accidents. They're unplanned.
He's
I
got
was
that
number
education.
6.
Lots of people wait 7 years to week.
My one sister and I, there was 4 women, and 7 years later, my sister and myself. So we were, that's number 1, that's number 2.
Here's number 1 and 2. Not a problem, just a fact. We're playing.
Right.
Kenny, how are you?
Super. Super,
Hey,
super.
how's your, Tanner, how's you?
Sir, how are you, young lady? How are you? All the way over there.
Hey, Tom.
Yes. shut you off. Huh? You mind?
There we go. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll give you back what we got. Shahan comes on and there's always tricks you can do. It's coming before the planner, planning zone, and I talked to you know.
You actually playing the game? I just got the score. I'm not.
Yeah, he's better than you are. No, he's not better.
My wife sees more than that.
You don't even sit that close to Dad anymore.
He must not have ESPN.
Oh, he does. He does.
Not the visual, not the visual.
Ready?
No.
Time out with 34 seconds to go. Oh.
Thank you. Everybody been messing around up here. All right, it's starting time. Call this meeting of Bridgeport City Council to order March 23rd, 2026. Roll call, please.
Mayor Robert Matheny.
Present.
Recorder Hank Murray.
Here.
Counselor Jason Campbell.
Here.
Counselor Don Burton.
Here.
Counselor Clayton Rice.
Here.
Counselor Jacqueline Rominger. Here. Counselor Chris Kinney.
Here. Thank you. Pastor Elderbrook couldn't be here this evening, so I get the privilege of doing the invocation, pledge allegiance. If you please rise. Heavenly Father, I come to you this evening and just ask for your guidance and wisdom over this meeting. And we just ask prayerfully that you guide our actions by your hand and that we be fair and just, and that you continue to bless and watch over our community, its citizens, families, and governing body. We ask this in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good job. Okay, item 4, approval of the minutes of the March 4th, 2026 special city council meeting, the regular March 9th city council meeting. Is there any action on that agenda?
moved as read.
Second.
Motion to approve and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nays? I have it. Motion carries. Number 5, approval of outstanding bills. Any action?
So moved.
Motion to approve the bills.
Second.
And second, any discussion? No. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments? Okay. No. Public comments, report by the mayor. I'll be very brief. A couple of things I do want to talk about just very quickly. We've had a lot of loss in our community and in our the family, the staffs here at the city, actual city employee, the misfortune of a couple local teenagers, one of which was a part-time employee of the city. So I'll just ask if we could just briefly stay seated, but just take a moment to reflect on that, please. Thank you for that. Also under Mayor's report, 2 things. One, we'll be looking at the general fund budget this evening. I want to thank the council. I know that for a lot of us newbies, this was our first time through, and so the guidance from staff and other council members was invaluable. And although there was a little debate back and forth, as there should be, and discussions back and forth, I think everything was done very professional, and I think the staff did an excellent job, Sharon and Joe, providing the governing body what we needed to set this budget, because it's such an important part of what we do over the next year. So thank you to everybody involved with that. Third, some of you know, I attended the National League of Cities Conference this past week in D.C. As part of my employment, not as mayor. But, in conversations, things come up, and I was in conversation with a gentleman, Steve Patterson, and I asked him if it was all right if I relay this. He's the mayor of Athens, Ohio. He's the immediate past president of the National League of Cities, and so he's been around. He's got a good tenure, and in conversation it came up that I was the mayor of Bridgeport, West Virginia, and he said, wow, he said, I was in your city last week with my twin daughters that were in a tournament at the Bridge complex, in the sports complex. And he said that he'd just never seen anything like that throughout the country, and he just couldn't say enough positive about it. So, from Mayor Patterson at Athens, Ohio, I wanted to relay a congratulations to our community, the staff, and for operating and supporting such a great facility that's actually known throughout the country. So good job, everybody, on that. Thank you. And that's all I have for Mayor's report. Manager, you have a report?
Yes, sir. As always, I have a written report for you as well, so I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but I will pull out some highlights. The library reported they will be doing the Bunny Hop Trail at City Park with Parks and Rec staff and the Bridgeport Story Walk. That will be on Saturday, March 28th from 11 to 12:30. The Bridge had a couple busy weekends, last couple of weekends. They held their biggest wrestling tournament in complex history with over 600 plus wrestlers from several states that came in. They also just this last weekend hosted, or maybe it was the weekend before, the largest swim meet in complex history with over 400 swimmers from all over the state for the Club State Championships. And that was our first year hosting that, and we received some pretty rave reviews for that. The cemetery, they just had their spring cleanup, and they're getting everything ready for the spring and summer. They're starting to get busy. Community development, they're also starting to see a lot of permits for a lot of outdoor issues and roofing permits, decks, driveways, fences, etc., as you would expect this time of year with the construction season right around the corner. Emergency services, they hosted a full-scale emergency exercise at the Meadowbrook Mall on March 15th. They had over 50 participants, including Bridgeport Fire Department, Bridgeport Police Department, the 911 Center, and several stores in the mall. Engineering, we have updated the information for the Main Street sidewalk cleaning and sealing program that's been sent out to the newspapers. So we're going to start the bid process, and that will be an early spring project to power wash all the downtown sidewalks and then seal all the stamped bricking. So that should make it look really nice downtown. Parks and Recreation, this last Sunday we hosted 37 volunteers from Little Bellas, which is a mountain biking program, the Harrison County NICA team, and the Bridgeport cross country team, and a local adult mountain biking club. And they donated over 100 hours of volunteer labor. They installed some new signposts that mark all of our trails for hikers, walkers, bikers, everybody else, the more of the woodland trails down at City Park. They removed 10 downed trees from the recent windstorms, blew all the leaves and cleared all the sticks off there and picked up any litter that they found, so we appreciate them. The replacement Deegan Lake tennis court lights are now functional, and I know that the high school team has been utilizing those some already. So. And they are open and available to the public. So, Public Works, and along with a bunch of other stuff, Tiny, they've begun pothole repairs, which is always a popular topic this time of year, and also some of the cement road repairs as well. You can see some of the other stuff they've been doing, but they made it through, let's knock on wood, the last snow season of the year. And with a lot of new guys this year, Tiny's crews did an excellent job of keeping our city streets clean, and through some pretty tough storms and weather conditions. And he would also like to give a big shout out to Tom and Cecil, who are down at our city garage just right down the hill, and what a vital part they are in keeping all the equipment operational, all the vehicles on the road, and everything running smoothly. So we break it and they fix it. So it's they're a good team down there. So utilities, the lift station 1 design continues to progress. They're working with RK&K Engineering to complete that. And the Crestview Water Project, they did their engineer interviews, and the Thrasher Group was selected by their committee to do that. So you can see some other, you guys know we had an issue up at the Charles Point water tank, and that was repaired and is completely back in service. So, general notes: the property here on Main Street, we did an RFP for some auction services. We had a committee that did that. We chose Joe Arpile, and we are working on the contract for that, and we will have that hopefully by the next council meeting for approval to get them started. We did our landscape architecture design project that will be for the corner on Main Street here and our shelter area out at the lake by the tennis courts. Our committee chose CEC here out of Bridgeport, and we just had a kickoff meeting with them today to begin the contract negotiations. Terracon is finalizing the specifications for the Phase 1 repair of the Deegan Lake Dam. We'll be holding an initial meeting with a few contractors for some final input, and then the bid documents will be finalized and it will be put out to bid. So we're hoping to have an early summer construction on that. So I've been working with our legal team on a path forward for the transfer of the Bridgeport Conference Center. As you guys know, the Sharon, was the last payment made? Yeah, it was made in early March. So, I don't know if we've gotten documents back that shows that's closed out yet or not, but that's coming. So we've been looking at the process, and we should have a process clear for you guys to look at and consider, and there's some other things we have to look at. The final thing I just want to mention today is in response to a public comment that was made a few weeks ago concerning the city clerk position. So I did pull out some information that, I think just needs to be clarified, and for the good of the public and for our elected officials here. So the city code 136.01 talks about the city clerk and the duties, and the city clerk shall be employed on a full-time basis to assist the city recorder in the performance of his or her duties, provided, however, that the power, duty, and responsibility of the city recorder provided in section 10 of the city charter remains with the city recorder. And here's the important part. The city clerk shall be appointed by the city manager with the advice and consent of city council, and shall hold that office during the pleasure of council and thereafter until a successor is appointed and qualified. So from my talking with John, it's the city clerk position is not directly under me. It's more under the recorder and the council. So I just wanted to provide that clarification because I felt that the information provided was not 100% accurate. So thank you.
Thank you, manager. Any questions of the manager? Seeing none or hearing none? Good report, thank you. We'll move to 9-1 is a proclamation for National Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2026. I think there's some folks in the audience that may want to come forward, and we will present the proclamation. How are you guys this evening? Center up here. Swing over on this side. All right. City of Bridgeport Proclamation, National Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2026. Whereas children are the most valuable resource in the future of the city of Bridgeport, and their safety, health, and well-being are essential to a thriving community. And whereas child abuse and neglect remain serious issues affecting children and families across the nation, and preventing abuse requires the commitment, cooperation, and diligence of the entire community. Whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships amongst family, service organizations, schools, faith communities, medical professionals, law enforcement, and concerned citizens working together to support family and protect children. And whereas communities that promote strong family, positive parenting, and supportive service help ensure that children grow up in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas during National Child Abuse Prevention Month, communities across the country reaffirm their dedication to protecting children and strengthening family through education, awareness, prevention efforts. And whereas the city of Bridgeport recognizes the importance of raising awareness and encouraging all citizens to play a role in preventing child abuse and neglect. Now therefore, I, Robert G. Matheny, Mayor of the city of Bridgeport, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Bridgeport, and encourage all residents to work together to promote safe, supportive environments for all children and families. Furthermore, the Bridgeport City Council urges citizens, community organizations, businesses, and local institutions to participate in activities and initiatives that strengthen family and protect the well-being of every child. Thank you. Thank you guys for what you do.
Little things, if that's all right, if I hand these out.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. One up.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank the council, thank the mayor for recognizing Child Abuse Prevention Month. It always brings awareness to not only our job, but to our children that are survivors, and we feel they're heroes. We really want to recognize Bridgeport's Detective Division, because without them, the cases in Bridgeport would be nowhere. They have been a really strong team member throughout our multidisciplinary teams, but also through helping us be successful with the Munster Madness, with our education for all our law enforcement in all our 4 counties. So we cannot say thank you enough to our Bridgeport Detective Division and the law enforcement. I do want to invite everyone to what we call Nate's Tree on April 7th, and it will be at the Bridgeport substation at 11 o'clock. And it's our annual ceremony where we plant a tree in memory of those children that have
Thank you so much, and do you want to introduce yourself and your staff?
So I'm Patty Saunders. I'm the Executive Director of Heroes Haven Child Advocacy Center.
I'm Kelsey Childers. I'm a family advocate at Heroes Haven Child Advocacy Center.
And I'm Missy McKean, and I work for the center mainly as grant administrator, executive assistant.
Well, thank you guys for what you do. It's such a very important role. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to item 10, reports. There are none. Unfinished business, none. New business. 12.1, consider an act on the reappointment of Mark Bonamico to the Bridgeport Development Authority Board for a 3-year term to expire on February 28th, 2029. Is there any action on that item?
So moved as read.
A motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none or hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. 12.2 is a public hearing for fiscal year 26-27 general fund budget. Is there a motion to go into a public hearing?
So moved.
Motion to go into public hearing, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. We will open up the public hearing. Is there anybody that wishes to speak on this agenda item? Anybody? Mom, do you want to speak? Amy?
You're doing great.
Patty? Jeff? Nobody? All right. Do I have to call that 3 times? Or no? Okay. Okay. Seeing nobody from the general public wants to speak, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Ayes have it. 12.3, consider an act on the approval of fiscal year 26-27 general fund budget. Any manager, do you want to speak on that before we vote? Or?
Yeah, I think, we've had several work sessions, small group sessions and then whole group special work sessions on that. I think, I think it's, I don't think we've strayed from what we've been doing for quite a while. I think it's a very solid budget this year. And, and as Robert mentioned earlier, for me, the first time going through the entire thing, it is very eye-opening to see, all of the ins and outs of the city working and what it takes to make everything happen. So I think we as a staff are pretty happy with this budget, and and lots of good comments from our elected officials as well. So I think we're in a good place this year. So.
Thank you. Any comments from council? Or I guess we probably need a motion and second on it first. Is there a motion on this item?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
A motion is second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have some.
Counselor?
Yeah, thank you. I apologize. I was unable to attend last week's meeting due to a previous engagement. One change I noticed that there is no funds earmarked for next year for, I don't even know what I'd call it. I would consider the farmers market fall under that. So I don't know if we'd put it under community enrichment, tourism, whatever would be appropriate. I think with the new market, all the work and the development that has had to go into this new market, I really, as a representative of the city, feel like the council should support that market if needed. If they don't need our funding, then that would be wonderful. But I know they're getting back on their feet. She's had to redesign the entire market. We have 80 vendors signed up already. I think the community enrichment, I think the tourism factor, I think the revenue that it's bringing to the local businesses is something that we should consider to include them in our budget for next year.
Any further discussion on that? What, and I'll ask Joe, or maybe Sharon, what would be the, say the council as a majority would want to include that? Is that something that could be achieved now, or would you recommend that we pass the budget as is, and then I know we'll have an opportunity to budget revision in later on?
My recommendation would be to pass the budget as is, and then when we do our carryover entry in July, we can make changes to that upon your direction. But we also have some money set aside this year that we could use, which is good through June 30th also. So that may satisfy some need without addressing next year's budget at this time.
Yeah, I agree. I think from a simplicity standpoint, there will be normally a significant amount of carryover fund balance money that we have in the past allocated toward different things. Jacqueline, there just wasn't a directive from the council as a whole to include that. So there was lots of discussion, but never any direction. So that can very easily be remedied, into the next fiscal year, which would start in July. And as we've mentioned before, we do have some contingency money and some, projects that aren't going to happen in the city manager's budget that, we've talked about if we wanted to fund that, or, in any type of item like that the council would wish, we could make that happen. So
That works.
I would need a motion, and
Absolutely.
from some council to do that, though. So.
Anything else on that, Councilor?
I'd just like to say that being new to this, it was pretty eye-opening to go through that process. I've read about it in the paper in years past, or in Connect Bridgeport in years past, how it works, and I had conversations before coming on council about the payroll percentage in the budget, and certainly was interested in that coming in. You see a government entity each year doing these pay raises, and you wonder where that's coming from. And the explanations that you gave, I really appreciate how thorough that was, and actually having that breakdown readily available. I think it's good for people to know if they do read about it that even with the cost of living increases that were given, plus well, I shouldn't say we listened, the work that you all went through to revamp some of the pay scales to make it a little bit more equitable and commensurate with the responsibilities that they had, and so there were some pay increases with that. That even at that point, the fact that we're at 41%, I think the number was on the general budget, goes to payroll. So 59% is actually going to stuff that benefits the citizens of this city, while still, I think, doing right by our people who do a really good job. That meant a lot to me. I think it shows a lot of fiscal restraint on the part of the department heads to look at this properly while still taking care of their people, and made the decision, for me, a lot easier as we went through this, because that was one of my biggest concerns. So I really appreciate how you guys handled that and explained it to us new people, at least, to me at least. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion? All right. Call question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Just testing. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Robert Matheny,
Yes.
Recorder Hank Murray,
Yes.
Counselor Jason Campbell,
Yes.
Counselor Don Burton,
Yes.
Counselor Chris Kenny,
Yes.
Counselor Clayton Rice,
Yes.
Counselor Jacqueline Rominger.
Yes.
Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right. 12.4, consider an act on the approval of fiscal year 26-27 coal severance budget. Manager?
I'll try to say this, and Sharon will correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember the numbers right off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me, but I know this is what we usually use for legal expenses. It's $40,100 is what we receive in coal severance funds, and that has always been budgeted for and to offset some of our legal expenses that the city incurs each year, so.
Any discussion on that? Does this require a roll call or just regular? Okay, thank you. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it, motion carries. 12.5, consider an act on the approval of fiscal year 26-27 excess levy budget. Manager?
Yes, it's also, so the special levy is the levy that's voted upon by our citizens every 5 years, is that correct? Yeah. So, and you can look on page 54 there if you want to see everything that's on there. It operate and improve Parks and Recreation Department, resurface city streets, maintain and operate the library, construct, maintain, repair sidewalks, public safety, police, fire, and emergency services, construct and maintain, repair storm drains. There's a lot of important things that happen. So, I always think it's important to mention that all of those items that you see, and that's a lot of really impactful issues that the city tackles and that we provide for our citizens, and I think do a really good job with. But that is voted upon by our citizens upon themselves as an additional tax on their properties to help provide those services. So it's always important to tell that story and to make sure that we know going forward that, when you have very nice streets that are paved regularly and, and all the other things that are done with that can be impacted by your votes. So I think it's important just to say that. But that's what the excess levy is about. That injects those funds back into our budget. So.
Thank you. Any action on that?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, any further discussion? Seeing none or hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it, motion carried. 12.6, consider an act on approving the fiscal year 26-27 sales and use tax budget, the bridge. Manager?
Yes, so, I think, you just told a story about the impact that facility has. And as somebody who got to get in on the ground floor and help design and build and open that facility and having a very intimate knowledge of recreational opportunities in Bridgeport, I don't think anyone's going to sit here and argue about how important or how impactful that facility's been. So I won't harp on that, but so that is, $9.4 million budget that we have. Part of that comes from the 1% sales tax, which is the budget we're approving, and then the rest is self-generated revenue. So, and that does not include the hotel stays and the restaurants and the B&O tax that all of our visitors to that facility bring into the city. So, I think the foresight of our council back probably 10 years ago when we started that process, I think it's coming to fruition now when you see, 6 teams in Buffalo Wild Wings, on a weekend. So, and every major restaurant around here experiences the same thing. So, so that's the budget there for that. So,
Thank you. Any action on that item?
So moved.
A motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Seeing none or hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it, motion carries. 12.7, consider an act on the approval of fiscal year 26-27 cemetery budget.
The cemetery budget doesn't change a whole lot from year to year, just with some improvements that they've asked to have done up there. So you guys have been briefed on that. They have by some of their guidelines, they follow a process to how their prices are raised each year, and so the budget reflects those slight increases in cost. And the cemetery also has a trust, and we do draw money off that trust for the perpetual care, which is also injected back into their operating budget. So pretty straightforward for them this year.
Thank you. Any action on that item?
So moved.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussions, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. 12.8, consider an act on a contract with CityNet to upgrade the phone hardware to a modern Cisco networking VoIP system in the amount of $26,707.40 with a 10% contingency of $2,670.74 for a total amount of $29,378.14.
Yes, so this has been a process. Our phone systems in our offices around the city, for the main part, are approaching 20 years old. So the technology has changed a lot. We as a staff, we looked at 3 different solution providers. We ultimately decided to stay with the Cisco brand as what we have now. The pricing, as you can see on your packet, you have to consider the cost of the units themselves and the monthly fees that we pay for that. And when you combine those two for a year, the CityNet solution was the better option. They are our current phone provider as well, and this system, because it goes to some more of the cloud type of base systems, and it's going to eliminate some servers that we have too. So actually our monthly bills are going to decrease slightly with this proposal. So we did put it out once we got it narrowed down to the system that we chose for several reasons. We did put it out to public bid, and CityNet was the low responsible bidder for that.
Any action on that item?
So moved. Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none or hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item 13, council comments. Councilor Rominger.
A few things, I'll keep it brief. I was up at the rec center this weekend, and the reptile expo was, both parking lots were full, so I'm proud of Drew and the staff of the Bridge for venturing out beyond sports to include other realms, because that place had probably thousands of people in it. And one other thing, on the young girl that lost her life on the interstate, I was just very proud of our community, because I graduated high school with her mother, and she's obviously devastated, as anybody would be, but the community came together to raise $30,000 for her for funeral expenses. That's amazing. And lastly, the DECA kids at Bridgeport High School are getting to go to nationals again, so they're amazing. Through the ABB, I'm always supporting those young entrepreneurs, but they're looking for donors if anybody would like to help those kids with some of their travel expenses. So, thank you.
Very good, thank you. Councilor Kenny.
I'd like to call out Drew a little bit because of the monotonous miles that they had last weekend, and he wasn't there. I was really expecting to see him, so pass that on to him. Next year, I expect him to be at least walking it. I mean, if he's going to put on something like that, that was painful. And then I'd like to address something briefly that was in the paper this week as an editorial about transparency in government and government moving along, and I very much agree with that editorial. It's frustrating, that we're still waiting on a report from the lawyer on this. It's frustrating the process that we're going to have to go through to figure out how to properly publicize this so we don't embarrass those who don't need to be embarrassed, but yet make sure the public sees what's going on. And it's also frustrating that we can't get an answer on a court case that thought we were going to get an answer on 2 months ago, and we still don't get that answer. And I really think as a collective, we're not doing right by the citizens of the county and the citizens of this city because of these delays and the difficulties that are there. So hopefully this gets moved along. I don't mean to be overly critical of Judge Schaefer. I don't know what goes into that kind of decision, but I think the paper was spot on for calling that out and making sure it stays in the public spotlight. So other than that, congratulations to the high school basketball team. They had a heck of a season, put on a good showing down there, made to the semifinals, and did a good job. Particularly, close with Dave Marshall, and I think he's a fantastic coach, and he did a great job with that young group of kids, and look forward to seeing what they're going to do in the future.
Thank you. Councilman Rice?
Yeah, a big thank you to all the department heads, Joe, Sharon, everybody, the mayor, other council members involved in the budgeting process. It's a lengthy process. There's just a lot of money in play. We're fortunate that we have the opportunity in Bridgeport that we have to keep our FF&E and our capital expenditures and our infrastructure to the level that we do, and it goes back to how the city fathers for decades have managed this city, and I hope that we, as our council, continues to carry that flag. A lot of debate, a lot of give and take. Some took more than others gave, and some gave more than others took, and that happens. That's budgeting process, and we hope overall. I think folks are happy. I'm proud to be part of the group, and again, thanks Sharon. She had a lot of one-off requests for reports and ledgers and graphs and crazy stuff that all of us want to see something in a different format. So again, thanks to everybody involved in the process.
Thank you. Councilman Burton?
Ditto and ditto.
You sure? You don't want to tell them about your experience on the firing range the other night?
No.
No, you don't want to talk to that. Councilman Campbell, I'll come back.
That's all right. It's fine.
No, I don't have anything.
Recorder Murray.
Now you're there, huh?
Yeah, no.
I want to agree with Councilman Rice. The budget process is tough. Tougher on the department heads than it is on us, but it went very well. I've done it a long time, and it went very smoothly, and so we're very fortunate. And you made a great comment. Our founding fathers are the ones that set that. I've been on there since Keith Boggs was which is a long time, more than most of us want to. Don't say it. But they set the process. They set the way it is. That's the reason we have the escrow accounts. That's the reason we have money left over, and we're fortunate to have that thought process. And then I want to say something about Thursday. We had the opportunity to go. What's the name of it, Mark? What am I calling it? The tactical.
It's just the Bridgeport Police Department training facility is what we call it.
Okay, that place is. Well, I don't want to argue with you. That place is fantastic. It really, really is. And to be put through what the officers go through, to make a split-second decision is unbelievable. I really, really enjoyed that. And I want to thank you all for having us, and it was very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. One topic I wanted to put under Mayor's report, and I forgot, I'll be very brief, but we have 27 TSA workers working at our airport. And it was brought to my attention over the weekend with some friends, and then I received a call this evening from an individual who kind of jogged my memory. But these 27 employees are showing up for work, paying for gasoline, but they're not receiving a paycheck. They still have families to feed and bills. They're doing a project, talk to the airport director at the airport. They can accept gift cards up to $25. If you don't have extra, you don't. But if anybody has any extra, there's an opportunity to drop off gift cards for gasoline or for a department store or restaurant, whatever your heart leads you to do. But I just wanted to put that out there, and if you have extra, please consider that. That's all I have. With that, I'll call for an adjournment. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Meeting adjourned.
I'm off the clock.
Hey, good.